The Memphis Grizzlies are building a championship team right before our very eyes. Memphis fans, I know you're probably upset with the Grizzlies being down 3-1 to the Utah Jazz in games that the Grizzlies could have easily won, but don't worry, your team is going to be in the playoffs pretty much every year for the next 5 to 10 years, and pretty soon, Memphis is going to own a championship. Here's why. One of the reasons why Memphis is going to be a championship contender and possibly a winner is because of they're very young. The average age of the Memphis Grizzlies is 24 years old, as I mentioned earlier, which is one of the youngest in the league and would be even younger without Jonas Valanciunas and Tim Frazier. The core three, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dillon Brooks. So I'm going to talk about all these three and show one play from each that shows why they are the core three and they are the future of Memphis. Alright, on this play right here, as you can see, Jonas Valanciunas gets the ball and immediately he finds Ja Morant. Why? Because Valanciunas is being guarded by Rudy Gobert, who, no offense to Rudy Gobert, I believe Draymond said this on the halftime show on TNT. Rudy Gobert is uncomfortable being a perimeter defender. He's not. That's not what he's. That's not what he's on the floor for. He's on the floor for at the rim and in the paint defense, which he is one of the best in the league at. That's why he's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. But with all due respect to Rudy Gobert, he ain't a good perimeter defender. That's why when Ja catches this right here, right? He first of all, Mike Conley's trying to help Rudy out, so Mike Conley gets in this position to jump it. Now Ja has all of this space to go. Valanciunas rolls, and Ja has all of this space to go. Now this can easily be cut off by Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gobert. What Ja does though, very smartly, gets past Mike Conley, pretty easy, because Ja Morant is very quick like that. Gets in the paint right here, and because Jonas Valanciunas dove to the rim, Rudy has to also follow him, but still worry about the ball. Ja Morant has a great floater, and this is an example of that, as he just floats it right up Rudy Gobert and in. Dillon Brooks is the heart and soul of this Memphis Grizzlies team, and his defense is one of the best. His defense is one of the best parts of his game, and also it really reminds you that the NBA, there are a lot of players who play defense. The NBA, a lot of people might think of it as just an offensive league, but if you have somebody who can lock down, play great defense, you are going. They're good. There's a good chance you are going at least to the playoffs, right? On this play right here, Dillon Brooks is on Steph Curry. The fact that Brooks has to pick up Steph Curry at the Oakland logo amazes me. But right here, Steph attacks. Dillon Brooks goes over the screen, as he should. And he makes it a very tough pass. Steph wants to get it back to Looney. You can probably tell right there. Dillon Brooks makes a very tough pass, gets it out of Steph's hands. And now the Warriors kind of stagnates here, right? On this next play, again, a very high pick and roll. Curry is smart enough to realize that if you're Dillon Brooks is overplaying the Draymond Green screen, why can't I can probably just go right here. Great help by Valanciunas. Brooks is a little behind on this play. Good help by Valanciunas, and Curry just lost it. I don't know what happened there, but Curry just lost it. Last play here that I'm going to talk about is the isolation on Steph Curry. This is probably the hardest thing to guard because Steph is a great isolation player because he's a great finisher. He can step it back, easily hit a shot, and he's the best shooter of all time. So what Steph does right here, he's trying to attack. He's trying to do something on the isolation. Great defense by Brooks. I'm going to actually slow this down a tiny bit here. I'm actually going to go, we're going to do this. Settings, playback speed, 0.5. All right, so on this play right here, if I can go back a bit, yes, this is the isolation. Steph is trying to get something, trying to get a step back maybe, trying to size him up. That Steph doesn't take that shot, and then he's coming here, and there was actually a foul on the floor, But that shows you how Dillon Brooks is willing to compete against one of the best shooters of all time. This play right here from Trey J is something that we have not seen at all this year since he's come back from injury. But I truly do believe that Jaren Jackson Jr., once he gets healthy, this offseason is going to be huge for him. By next year and the coming years after, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be a lot more like what we saw in his early years, or even better. But this is how he is going to attack. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not a bad ball handler. To your point. I forgot to turn that down. As you see, Jay Crowder, former Grizzly, sets a screen for him. Jaren Jackson Jr. comes up. Great move right here between the legs and then into a one dribble spin. It's a great move that caught 44 off guard and right into post work layup, easy layup. And this is what we will see from Jaren Jackson Jr. once he comes back, and even greater. Jaren Jackson's a really good three-point shooter. He can stretch it out. He can get inside. He's going to be a vital piece to a championship Grizzlies team. As I mentioned before, one of the reasons why the Grizzlies are going to be a championship team is because of Taylor Jenkins and the system that he runs. So I want to look on this play right here. So you can see right here, Ja Morant gets it over. This is from last year. It's not from this year, from last year. Ja Morant gets it over to Jaren Jackson Jr. This is the motion offense that Taylor Jenkins runs with the Grizzlies. And as you can see right here, it's a pretty good offense. That's definitely definitely a missed call, but we're just gonna ignore that for now because that's not what we're looking at right here. So it goes from Morant to a big to a guard. So it goes from the wing to the top, which is a big, and then back to the wing, and then we get a ball screen right here. And this is where the wing has options. He can use the screen, he can reject the screen. He can like half use the screen, come off of it, let the person roll or pop depending on who it is. This is a pop situation after a screen reject, and because the Jaren Jackson's man helped, Trey J has a wide open shot. And as I mentioned before, even though his form is very suspect, he's still a very good shooter and he drills it. On this next play right here, another point guard to big to wing series from, I believe this is Ja. Yeah, that's Ja. Over to Valanciunas, over to Dillon Brooks. Then we get a high screen right here. Booker shades over it. Then we actually get another screen right here. This is the freedom in this offense comes from this wing spot right here. As Dillon Brooks kind of went off the screen, then used it again right here, so that Valanciunas gets a good roll off the attack. Great hop step by Dillon Brooks right here and into a open shot. Then we have 21 getting it over. So again, we're doing pretty much the same thing right here last time, from guard to big to wing. Then we have another screen step right here. Dillon Brooks attacks. Bradley Beal reaches. Not a great move. That was a great ball movement in terms of in his hands by Dillon Brooks. And it's a tough finish that Dillon Brooks is able to get. Well, actually, we'll go one more. And then now this is another edit of this right here. So we're actually going to go back here. We're going to get Dillon Brooks waiting. This is actually going to be a full reversal from the wing, from the guard spot over here at the wing to the big to the wing. And then we have a screen away. So Jonas Valanciunas is setting a screen away from the ball to the guard. Ja Morant comes off of this, and Ja just attacks. Great lob, Valanciunas finishes. This is the type of offense that Memphis runs, and it's some of the best offense. It's a great offense for what Memphis has, with Dillon Brooks, Grayson Allen as shooters, Ja, Tyus Jones at that point as drivers, and big man like Jaren Jackson and Jonas Valanciunas to use as screeners and poppers and divers. This is just the grit and the overall grind of the Memphis Grizzlies here. Their defense is what the Grizzlies are proud of. This is the proud defense of the Memphis Grizzlies. Look at that shot contest by Ja Morant in the block. Dude, this is from last year. And these are some defensive highlights of Ja, and I'm going to put some of Dillon Brooks. and Jaren Jackson Jr. as well as others in a bit. But just the overall defense that I think Grizzlies coaches and Grizzlies players preach every day, night, every second of their life is how Memphis has gotten to this position. And while there are some problems offensively in terms of turnovers and anything, the defense of Memphis will always be grit and grind. The Mike Conley era, the Tony Allen era, the Marcus Gasol, this Memphis Grizzlies era showed the world what grit and grind defense was truly about. And this is what the new grit and grind era of Memphis is about. Here's some more highlights of the grit and grind defense.
A really good player.
Sabonis in trouble, and that's taken by Morant. And missed the shot. Tried to make something up there on an Indiana turnover. Now Brogdon tosses it away.
Cavaliers have the second worst paint defense in the league, giving up an average of 53 a contest. Dillon has scored the last 8.
Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all liked and enjoyed. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Let's try and hit for 6 likes today. And we're going to be out with my next video tomorrow. Thank you. Peace.